interpret.
Why is that YMCA?
No dancing for me, though.
I didn't give you a signal. I wanted you to interpret that as the emptiness. The emptiness of the amount of time you had left.
My D is purple.
Enjoying the weekend?
Yes, very
You
much
do a
so.
ton of these at this point, so.
Yes, at this point, well, yeah, it's been 15 years now that I've been going to cons.
Yeah.
But exhibiting only for the past 10? Yeah. How many have you done so far?
This is my first time actually being
really?
staffed
Oh,
at a convention.
How do you
which
like
is
it?
Super fun. I managed to get 7 hours of sleep last night, so it's going really well.
God, you're so lucky.
I don't have nearly as many responsibilities as most of the programming team.
Yeah.
I'm only moderator, but I'm on call for everything else. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's been super fun.
Yeah.
I got a booth too, because I like multitasking apparently.
Excellent. Where's your booth?
It's number 110. We're Thwomp, a Nintendo cover band.
Oh, nice.
So we'll be playing all day in our booth. Swing by if you like.
Yeah.
If you like Nintendos
I-
and musics.
I love Nintendo music. I like that too.
Sweet.
It's
Sure am. He knows.
yeah. Yeah. What little guy do you have on today?
Oh, it's Vision.
Vision. Oh, right, yeah.
The original yellow and green copy.
It's weird when they do that. How you doing?
I pretty much have to yell at and scream at everyone because everyone was late to him. One of the guys is actually part of what's his name? I never remember his name. He's like an artist around
Yeah.
too. I was like, how did you do that?
Yeah. I don't know. Time gets away with you sometimes. Yeah. I know. That's the problem is that it's like 10:30, so some people can't even get in yet because they're still in the lineup. So, but we could rock it. Small little panel. You can come up here. Everyone,
come down there.
everyone just lie
Whatever.
on the table. We'll have like, yeah.
We had to do that for Nat Jones yesterday
Oh really?
because James O'Barr basically, for some reason, couldn't make it to the entire convention.
Oh.
And then no one found out about it till I get a phone call 5 minutes before. But I moderated Nat Jones last year at the Edmonton show, and he's cool about it.
Nice.
He's very blasé about panels. So
Yeah. I was
he's
at
just like, whatever. So he actually just went down and chatted. with
Oh,
everyone.
nice.
Yeah.
At Emerald City, I was apparently on a panel I didn't know about. And I get this phone call. They're like, yeah, you're supposed to be on a panel, like, in 5 minutes. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was the same thing for Ben Templesmith was on the same panel, apparently, and he didn't know about it. And
Well, like, did I come to you on Friday? I was like, oh, you have a panel on like Sunday or something.
yeah, I was like, oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I'm like, I didn't know that.
And you're like, I have a panel on Sunday. You guys are coming on Sunday.
Well, I was talking to, the organizers, but they didn't actually confirm, so it's okay. I roll with it.
You know what we had to like change up is like 3 hours in advance or something.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, even in Seattle, I showed up to the panel 15 minutes late, and I had to do the walk of shame on top of the stage, and I'm like, hey. Oh,
Oh yeah, we're in the middle of the tables now.
So now you're on time, but you'll have to leave early because you can.
this is unacceptable. I'm leaving.
Please flip the table.
I want to flip a table so bad. What was that? Was
I'm trying to
that
think if I
Clone
have that
High?
kind of authority. Oh, the
Have you guys
pool.
seen?
They
Yeah, the
flip-
pool.
They flipped
I'm
the
gonna
bitch.
flip the bitch. Have you guys seen Clone High?
Oh, that's one.
Yeah, when what was it? Genghis Khan flips the pool. I've always ever since then I'm like, I want to
They're
flip sometime.
rioting at a college grade level.
Yeah. Oh my
I
god,
can't do a Scudworth.
the dean.
I can't do a Scudworth to
No.
save my life. There is a Scud.
Why don't you go to like a buffet?
Yeah. That's awesome. If I ever hear of the incident where this guy flips a buffet table, I'll know it's you.
I'll do that at Expo that is in Calgary. So
Yeah.
that's you can go out.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, if you're gonna flip a table, go to another city.
Yeah.
Vancouver, I'm gone.
What? Oh, I'll join you.
Okay, sweet.
I know a few buffets. Yeah.
At the end of your next Vancouver panel, he rolls in a buffet table.
Yes.
And then flips it.
Yeah.
At just a crescendo the entire panel.
Oh yeah. Chicken feet.
An,
I wanted beef tongue.
an intricate dessert cart.
Oh yes. Go to the those fancy like tea places. There's a fancy tea place in Vancouver. You get the like.
Of course there is.
Of course, right? And they come by with their tiny little desserts, and it's so fancy in English. And I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna flip the bitch. Yeah. What should I flip?
Flip of the week.
That's awesome. I'm promoting chaos. I'm sorry.
Good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's true.
All right.
Okay.
I guess we're starting.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be a small panel because no one can. Everyone's still in
Camilla
line.
D'Errico. Everybody.
Yes.
Everybody. Camilla D'Errico. Yeah, by all means, everybody come up close.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't even think
I
we need
want-
microphones at this point.
Yeah. But now I want you in like spitting distance, so I just like, spray you all. Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
I might be angry still. Actually, we got lost finding the banks.
Did you still get lost last night?
We went the wrong floor in the parking.
Oh my God.
Shouldn't have jacked my vehicle.
Oh my God. I'm so glad I deviated from you guys. I was like, I gotta go.
Well,
It was a fun night, so.
we're
Anyway.
still streaming this online, so I should go through the pomp and circumstance of introducing you.
Yes, okay, yes, sorry.
Actually, let's get back on mic. I forgot. I keep forgetting
Okay.
we're being streamed this weekend.
I didn't know. We are?
Yeah. Yeah, all the panels are getting streamed. I know, we actually have to.
Oh,
I know.
hold on.
Oh, you look fine.
Okay, I'm good. All right.
Welcome, everybody. Of course, really don't need any introduction, but she's a painter, she's an illustrator, creator of Tampopo. Welcome to Calgary Expo, Miss Camilla D'Errico.
Thank you.
Polite applause. Polite applause.
Thanks, guys.
Golf claps. It's like she just
Golf
sank.
clap.
She just sank a chip.
Yes.
Welcome to Calgary. How's it going?
Good. I'm having a great time. This is, I love Calgary. It's one of the best cons. Let's be honest. It's great.
How many times have you been to the Calgary Expo?
I don't remember.
been a few,
5 years, I think.
Cool.
You would probably know. You've seen me more than anybody. Yeah. That's
Awesome.
right.
When was the first time you were like, I think I can be an artist for a living?
When I realized I can do math. It was just, I don't know, in high school, I never actually thought that I couldn't do this for a living. I just told myself that's all I wanted to do, so it didn't really matter to me. It was, I think in like grade 4, I did my first I drew a snow leopard and I thought it was like Robert Bateman good. And later on, I saw it when I was 18. I'm like, oh my God, it's all dilapidated and weird. But at that point in the grade 4, I was like, no, I'm going to be an artist. That's all I want to do. So, and it was in when I was 16 that I discovered comic books, and because this guy named not his real name, but Romeo, this guy in high school, came up to me and he's like. Seeing me draw dragons and girls, and he's like, I've got this comic about the devil and Jesus teaming up to save the universe. I'm like, well, that's neat. And my best friend had a big crush on him, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll draw your comic. And then it never happened. I'm not surprised though.
You're the best wingman ever.
Yeah, I know, right? I took one for the team. I was like, and I'm not religious, so I'm like, well, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, no, and ever since then, I was like, I love comics, and I just did everything I could to make it.
Cool. What would you say some of your inspirations were as you were learning?
Well, I picked up Darkness, the Joe Benitez comic, and I just became inspired by other artists like that. So Michael Turner and Joe, and I found my inspiration from other people and the different kind of comics that were out there. So, and I think over the years it's just changed, I started getting into anime. Sailor Moon was my biggest obsession. Tuxedo Mask was so cute. So I really, and you know, when you start to branch into different cultures and there are different take on graphic novels and comic books, like the French comics as well. There's like Sky Doll too, and the Japanese. You see, there's different stories. So it's kind of an endless supply of inspiration for me to tap into.
You list Saturday morning cartoons as one of
Yes.
your main inspirations too.
Yes.
What, can we talk cartoons for a bit?
Totally.
What did you, without aging you, because that would be rude.
What?
What's the, what would the generation of Saturday night morning cartoons you grew up with?
I'm not ashamed of my age.
Oh, okay.
I'm proud to say I watched Masters of the Universe. I'm like, God, He-Man. I had all the I had Battle Cat and I had Skeletor and the Panther. I can't remember the Panther's name now, but and She-Ra, which they need to remake She-Ra. And there was also the Care Bears, which was great. But I just, you know, and I loved those guys. And oh my God, like the original Spider-Man cartoons and the X-Men where Rogue had massive 80s hair. And yeah, those just like, they were fantastic. They were just, I ever since then, I never grew up. I never grew out of it.
Have you gone back and maybe been disappointed that your childhood memory doesn't match your adult memory on the cartoons?
No, I love it. Okay, so I'll tell you.
Then
Have you guys?
don't.
I won't. No, but I have. Like, have you guys seen the He-Man Christmas special? Oh my God, I cried out of joy when I watched it. I'm like, I missed it when I was a kid, and I rewatched it like a couple years ago, and I was just like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Because it was so bad. It was so bad. And I really think I'm like, that actually explains a lot of my personality. Just watching a guy in purple spandex, like in a bowl haircut, like, wow. And answered a lot of questions for me, you know?
What about you guys? What would you like to know about Camilla's work?
That's like, just throw them in the deep end.
I love the He-Man.
It's Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
They should have a team up where they fight Jesus and the devil.
Yeah, right? Oh my God. Yeah, if that would be like if He-Man and Skeletor teamed up to stop the Care Bears from like taking over the world. Like, I did see on BuzzFeed actually something that kind of destroyed the childhood, and that was the title of it. And it showed one of the Care Bears, and it was just like shots taken out of context, and it was these like the Care Bears, and they're staring at this one Care Bear who has his towel open to them, and I'm like, what? Like, that was hilarious because I'm like, that was awesome, but didn't destroy my childhood because
No.
you know,
Good.
it was fun. But no, like my art isn't just the comics too, right? I do the paintings, and I didn't actually mean to be a painter. It just sort of happened by accident, which is hilarious because I was actually told I wasn't a really good painter. I failed color theory, which I never told my parents, so I hope they're not still watching this, but in college I actually did. I failed it. I got a D. I'm like, what the hell? And now I paint, you know? I'm like, I think I'm pretty good at mixing colors. But it happened by accident. Like, I had done some snowboard designs for Ride, and I did these like awesome, what are they called, like ninja girls. And I went into this this gallery, and they were doing a snowboard show. So I, you know, just happened to wander in, and I'm like, oh, you know, I did some designs for snowboards, like, and would you be interested in maybe selling the originals? And they sold before the show opened, and they were on paper. So the gallery owner asked me if I ever painted on canvas, and I'm like, well, I could give it another try. And I did, and I did 12 paintings, and they sold out. Like, they sold before the show, well, not before the show opened, but like they sold out. And after that, I was like, hey, I can actually do this, because in college they only taught me how to draw paint realistically, which I'm not good at. Like, I'm not Michelangelo. I can't draw a six-pack abs on a guy. Like, it's just not my thing. So, you know, and my bowls of fruit were decent. They weren't the best. So I really didn't think that I could take my love of manga and turn it into a painting, because at the time, pop surrealism didn't really exist. So it was this new genre where artists were making paintings out of cartoons, basically, and I just happened to be doing it at the same time, and it just turned into this second career for me, which I'm really excited about. You know, that allows me to express myself in a different way than my comics.
Cool. What kind of lessons have you learned along the way? Because a lot of your work, like you're the driving force behind getting your work out there. Like you're not relying on anybody else. So what
Yeah.
kind of the things that you've learned along the way?
Not to be shy about my art. Like I just, I always make fun of myself, but I say like I have very little shame and no dignity, but I have a lot of pride. So I put myself out there. Like I go to gallery shows and I go to galleries and I go to clients and I just, you know, I put myself out there and I say like, you know, this is my art and what do you think? And I take criticism really well. I don't let it get to me anymore. Like at the beginning, you kind of feel like you're naked in front of a huge crowd of people because your art is so personal. And then I just kind of like got over the idea that I had to do art to please other people. I was doing it for myself. So a lot of artists are really shy about getting their art out there, and I just think you shouldn't be. Like just because if you don't show anybody your artwork, no one will ever see it. And what's the point if you want to be a professional artist?
Well, I imagine it gets easier once you get a small following, that at least there's a chorus of people telling you what you're doing might be the right thing.
Yeah. Well, like eventually you do get people who really like your artwork, and you're just like, oh, that's awesome. Like I'm still blown away that people like my stuff. I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. Like, I think the hardest thing though is when you meet people who don't like your art, and most of the time, like if you get out of 100 people saying they like your stuff, that you get one person saying they don't, and when that happens, you're just like I remember focusing on the negative, and I just kind of slapped myself. I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like all these people like it, and just because one person doesn't, like why do I care what they think? You know, I'm not doing it to make them like me. I'm doing it because I love it, and if people like it as well, then that's great. But kind of screw the people who don't.
Do you have like a brutal, almost backhanded comment story that anyone's ever said about your art?
Well, yeah, you know, and this is something that's really hard because I paint nudity sometimes, and because it's North America, nudity is kind of it's not really accepted as much as it is in Europe. Like when you go to Italy, there's Cosmo girl, and it has like a naked girl in the front, and she's like showing off the necklace, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So when I paint nudity, sometimes people find it really, they don't accept it. I remember feeling really awful when somebody, I was told at the gallery, they put up one of my paintings on the front display, and a woman came in and she was so upset. And she was so upset, she said that it was child pornography. And the gallery owner was just kicked her out. He's like, you don't know what you're talking about, because that is absolutely not child porn. He's like, like, get out, you know? And it's because, you know, my girls, they're obviously not kids. Like, kids aren't that developed. And it made me pull back from doing nudity. So I did an entire show that had no breasts, but the girls were, it was flesh, so it was naked, but they just didn't have any breasts. And it was my way of saying, like, you know, I'm taking the sexuality out of the paintings, but people still saw them as nudes. And I just thought, you know what, at that point, I'm like, I'm just gonna do what I like to do, and I don't find it offensive to draw breasts and in the naked form. They've been painting it since the Renaissance, since like the beginning of time. Cavemen didn't put dresses on their cave paintings. Like, I don't think we have to cover up anymore. So that was the most upsetting thing that I've ever heard.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry. I don't want to be a downer, but.
We're just like,
Just transitioning over from art to writing.
Mhm.
I know Tampopo you wrote yourself. And
Yeah.
you've also done sky pirates for someone else.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about kind of your approach to it, or what stories you have in your mind, or what you like better?
Yeah, you know, I love writing. I'm just not really good at dialogue. So I love working with other writers, but like with Tampopo, I did do all the writing myself because I've taken all the the writing from the actual literature, because it's based on like Faust and Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So I just reconstituted the story into a narrative about these two characters, and I find it so exciting because I don't know if anybody is like a big fan of literature the way that I am, but when you read the Old English, it just sounds so much more, I don't want to say like epic, but it's just like, it's more intense, you know? And with the second graphic novel of Tampopo, I've actually found myself taking much longer than on the original one because I needed to find the right stories, the right operas, the right poems for it. And now that I have, I can't stop reading the scripts. I can't. I'm just like, I keep going back and I keep reading them when I should probably be drawing it. But it's so interesting because I don't actually, I know what I want for Tampopo, but it depends on what where I get my source material from. So there's a lot that happens to Tampopo that I didn't actually plan on and initially, and it developed naturally, and I let myself go that way. Like if it feels organic, I like that, but I'm not going to force the writing. Sometimes, and I was actually having dinner last night talking about the Vampire Diaries. And I'm not going to get into the Vampire Diaries, but like I just found that when you do some writing and you watch a show and you feel like, oh my God, that's so forced. Like, why are they doing it? And they're doing it because either they want to hold off for the big ending, you know, the season finale, and you're just like, oh, you guys are dragging it along, or they're doing it to satisfy the fans. And you're like, it just, I want my character's story to be their story, not the story that specifically I think they should have or that the fans want. I think it's more, I just feel like every story should be about the characters and not about me. And Sky Pirates is great because I've been working on that for 8 years, and I feel like I have a lot of say in the world, and my ideas get bounced back from the creator, and he likes some of them, so they get incorporated, and it's great because I just love working with characters. And actually have this one story I'd love to do, and it's The Bride of Frankenstein, a space horror. And I've got the script, and I just need to find the time to do it, but it's gonna be great. It's so dark. And that's one of those books that I had the idea for it, and then the writer came up with something very different, and I was like, oh my God, that's so like, oh my God, does that happen to her? And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna draw it because it's a compelling story, you know? But I'm hoping to do that one. Like, would you guys like Bride of Frankenstein, a space horror? Yeah. Yeah. And she's like a helmet girl too, so that's pretty cool. But yeah. Any other questions you guys have?
I think I always bring it up every time I see it.
Oh yeah?
Toys.
Oh, the toys.
If you could, I know we've already discussed this.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, with pensions and stuff, but if like someone were just to approach you, maybe play arts or whatever, like source off guys.
Yeah.
Did they make your toys? Like, you would probably be down for that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've actually, do you guys know the Toy Art Gallery in LA? They do, they do a lot of toys and like soft vinyl, and they've approached me about doing a toy. So I'm hoping that that'll happen. There was actually like 3 companies right now that are have approached me about doing a figure. And I'm like, yes, please, let's do it. And it just takes a long time, unfortunately, for the toys. But so far, Dark Horse has made a bust out of my No Ordinary Love, which is great. I'm just hoping to do like a full figured, maybe helmet girl at some point. And but I do have you guys seen the RAR toys? They're these like dinosaur vinyls. Well, they're a new company, but I'm doing a series for them, so it's going to come out in the summer. So there's going to be like a dinosaur girl of mine that's coming out. I'm so excited. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to launch it at Comic-Con in San Diego, so you could come there. Just
I didn't have plans that weekend, but
yeah,
we'll
I
now.
guess, right? Yeah. So that's the next like 3D. And then my sister bought a 3D printer, so I'm hoping to do some little chibi DIY helmet girls that I'll be like customizing. Yeah.
So are you doing the 3D sculpting yourself too?
No. I did some 3D sculpting like 8 years ago, and I was really good at doing the Sculpey, but I've just kind of lost my touch. So I'm going to leave it to a professional to do it. Otherwise, it could look weird if I tried now.
What's been your favorite collaboration to date? Who's been your favorite person to work with?
Oh my God. Well, I think the most exciting collaboration I've had so far has been with Neil Gaiman, because I love his writing. It was a shock that he actually wanted to work with me. When his assistant came up to me at WonderCon, she's like, "Yeah, do you know Neil Gaiman?" I'm like, "Do I know Neil Gaiman?" And my sister didn't. She's like, "No, who's that?" And I'm like, "Pfft. Like, are you kidding me? Get out of here!" And so I think I was the most excited to do that. Because Neil Gaiman is a literary genius, and he had a lot of input in the story in the image I did. So I did this illustration for how to talk to girls at parties, and it was a great image. I really liked it.
Did I read you work with Grant Morrison?
You know what, Grant and I have. He approached me about doing a comic book with him, and that was a couple years ago. And I've been waiting to do that with him ever since. And it's funny because I'll still email his wife, because that's his manager, and she's like, yeah, no, Neil definitely wants to, or not Neil, sorry, Grant. Grant wants to, but he's so busy on other projects, and I mean, it's Grant Morrison. He just does what he wants.
He's busy.
Yeah, right? So, but he did see, I remember getting, Cameron Stewart got to do Sea Guy 2, and I was like, damn it, Cameron! Because that was my slot for, to work with Grant, and then Cameron got to, and I'm like, oh my God. So I feel like the timing is always off for us, but at some point, maybe in 20 years it'll come out, I'm sure. I'll be there waiting for Grant to send me a script.
Very cool. Anybody have any questions right now? I want to make sure you guys are involved.
Yeah.
What do you want to know? There's so few of us. You have her all to yourself.
Well, I will say this. My next project is the Tampopo 2, which is coming out in October. And I can say this now because I've been working on it for the past year, is I have a how to draw manga book coming out in the fall. And it's a really great, it's a book I'm doing with Random House, so it's going to be in stores everywhere. And it's kind of one of the first books that they've done where they've taken a professional working manga artist and making a book on how to draw their style. Because the books they have right now, it's I can't remember his name, but he's not an actual manga artist. So it's called How to Draw Pop Manga. I'm pretty excited about that coming out.
Cool. I'm actually not familiar with Sky Pirates. What is it about?
Oh, Sky Pirates of
Well, other than I'm going to assume it's pirates in the sky.
This is true. Yeah, not at all. No. It's about bunnies. It's a great story. So Sky Pirates of Neoterra is a video game that you guys can play on Facebook for free, and it's like Mario Kart, but with sky pirates, and you get to drop tornadoes on people, but it's also a graphic novel. So it's the story about Billy Boom Boom, who he has to stop the Witch Queen from taking over the tribes of Neoterra, and so in order to do that, he has to win the Great Race, but he has to defeat the Pirate King in order to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and right now it's in the development for an animation as well.
Oh, cool. That seems like it would be a really great fit.
Yeah. And now we're also working on a battle card version of it,
Oh, nice.
which I love, because I was a huge fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! No one would play with me though, because I'm too competitive. So, and I'd always cheat. I'd always be I'd challenge. I'd be like, no, I don't think that's right. And they're like, yes, Camilla. And I'm like, I can't lose. And but this is a digital one, so there's no cheating, unfortunately.
Did you ever go as deep as Magic the Gathering?
No, I didn't.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
It gets bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I went to some ugly places with Yu-Gi-Oh though.
Yeah.
I had to give up my cards, but so that's the next big great thing. And it's really it's so much fun. I'm really excited for that.
For Tampopo Part 2, are you just gonna publish it through Boom again? Or
Yeah. I'm going with Boom. We're gonna step up our marketing, and we're gonna do a bunch of book signings, and there's gonna be a free poster with the next release, and I'm really excited. It's actually it's thicker than the first one. It's kind of when you read novels, they just get thicker and thicker because the author can't edit themselves. That's me. And I'm actually kind of terrified because it's so long. I have to anyway, it's okay. I'll deal with it. But there's just so much. I couldn't edit out any more than I did. And so Boom's really great though, because they're okay with like an extra page count. They just want the story to be what it is. They don't want me to thin it out for them. So I'm really excited though about Tampopo too. Like, so much bad stuff happens to her. And like does everyone here know what Tampopo is? Like, so yeah, the story of an emotionless girl and her journey to discover emotions with the devil as her guide. Yeah, so she experiences anger and fear for the first time in the second book. And I'm using Edgar Allan Poe, who's the master of fear. So I'm using 2 of his stories in the second graphic novel. Super excited. Yeah. Do you guys have any more questions?
Have a question in the back?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm new to your art. I found it through Deviant. And I was kind of curious about, I read that you and Boom actually had put together, or you did a Kickstarter for your first Tampopo book.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how fruitful that was, and if that was something that you would go and do again, or if you had any advice for anybody who was looking to fund their, their project, like what you were doing with Boom, and for another Tampopo book or anything else that,
Yeah, no, the Kickstarter went really well. We got funded. We got 50% more than we were asking as well. And the Kickstarter was so great because we did a bunch of tiers that people got sketches and they got all these different things that you couldn't get in stores. And so a Kickstarter is great because you can offer people really amazing purchase like things that basically publishing as it is, you just get a book and then that's it. But like with a Kickstarter, you can offer T-shirts or plushes, and you can offer sketches and all these different things that make fans more excited about the property, I think. And I really liked working with Boom on the Kickstarter. They did a great job. And Kickstarter actually, it was like featured. The Tampopo Kickstarter was featured as like one of the top 10 of 2000 of that year. And the Kickstarters, they're great. They're a lot of work though, because you have to constantly get in touch with your fan base and remind people that it's still there. And then you run out of tiers, like certain ones, and then you have to add more sometimes to make it more enticing for people. And I remember we sold out of the sketch tier really quickly, and Boom was like, "Oh, can we do another one?" I'm like, "No," because that was like 25 sketches I'd have to do, and they wanted to do 50 more, and I'm like, "No, God, like I just can't. I have like a certain schedule to keep." But Kickstarter, I think. I just think it's amazing, and you have to do a lot of videos too. And I'm actually quite shy when it comes to doing videos. I'm really bad when I have to be scripted. So I just kind of threw the script out the window when I was doing it because I was too nervous, and then it just felt more organic that way, and it was fun though. Yeah.
Cool. That answers your question? Awesome. How are you guys doing?
Yeah. Or is anyone here an artist that like? Hey, do you want to be like a professional artist? Do you want to?
I just do most of the time. It's something that I'll do in a different type of career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I went to college. I've done a lot of schooling. I did 3D animation. I've done fine arts. I've done illustration and design. And the place I learned to experiment the most with my mediums was when I worked at an art supply store. So I graduated, and I was trying to find a job. In the meantime, I need to pay the bill, so I worked for Opus, and I discovered water-soluble oils, which is what I paint with now. And I couldn't believe it. No one had ever told me about this. And I learned more about art in that 1 year that I was being paid to learn about it than I went to then my fine arts. And I'm not saying don't go to college, go work in an art store. You'll be, that'll make your career. But it's just it's really neat because I didn't realize that there were so many different ways of so many different mediums out there. There's gouache, and then there's acrylic, and then there's oils. That's what they teach you in college. But then there's all these different my God, there's so many ways to paint, and the different even like the gel mediums you can use in your paintings. I didn't even know about those. So I loved that I got to learn all that at an art supply store. And, you know, and they gave me free stuff. So if you're an artist, you should work for an art supply store and get free stuff and get free supplies and learn as much as you can, you know. And I think one of the other things too is that people ask me all the time, like, so did you go to college for what you're doing? And no, well, I did do college, but I never, basically, they discouraged me from doing comic books. They said it was an art. And I was so disappointed because I think it's an art. It's of course it's art. And I'm very obstinate. So when someone tells me not to do something, that's the exact opposite. Like, I'm like, no, I'm gonna do that.
Spite's fun.
Yeah, spite, it's true. And I'm just a stubborn Italian, you know? Like, come on, you're not gonna tell me not to do something. So when I did do college, I went to my college and stuff, I taught myself how to do what I'm doing now. And I learned a lot of skills in college, but not my style. I think that's something that you have to develop on your own, and you have to really work hard at it, and not let other people's opinions of your art kind of dissuade you from doing it. Because if I had listened to my teachers, I'd probably be a teacher. Yeah, I'd probably be a teacher. Just what my parents were hoping I would be, because they're like, that's safe. Like, you'll get a job, and I don't play it safe. I just kind of go for it. So.
They got to be proud of you now.
Oh yeah, no,
Well,
they're
they've
great.
always been proud of
They've
you.
always been proud of me. They were always just like so worried.
But now it's a sigh of relief. Oh, thank
Yes,
God.
it's a sigh of relief.
She's
I know.
not moving back in.
No, they're Italian. They want me to move back in. They're like, and you know, I'm getting married, and they're like, well, you can move in, and then you could buy, you know, a house. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, I'm not moving back in.
Well, they just want you there to take care of them.
Yeah, well, eventually I will. You should take care of your parents,
Yeah.
man. Don't just ship them off.
Is there anything about your Italian heritage that influences your work?
Yeah, I think that that European side comes out. The one that wants to, like I said, like paint nudity, paint nudes, and paint. Also, I guess not just flat and abstract, but also I look to Raffaello, Raphael, the painter, because he was amazing. He was yeah, totally. No, the way that they were really skilled at using their oils and making everything look so three-dimensional, but like Raffaello didn't do realism, he also did like surrealism. And I think that comes out. And when I was in Europe, I went to Italy because I had an art show in Rome, and I went to all the galleries there, and I got migraines because I would so close to the paintings. I was studying their brush strokes and all that. It was unbelievable. There's so many. Wow. Yep.
Lie down.
It's okay. Yeah.
I will go over there and sternly look at them.
Yes. No, well,
Sternly.
let's go flip their tables.
Yes.
That's it.
It's called a laugh track. It's like an episode of the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah. Which I still have never seen. Yeah.
You're not missing much.
Okay.
Is that heresy, by the way? Have I offended any Big Bang Theory fans?
No. Oh, what in the back?
I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
Are you watching anything on TV right now that's really getting you from a storytelling aspect?
I'm so ashamed. The Vampire Diaries, I'm completely obsessed with it. But I'm so angry at it because it's bad. It's like I'm angry at myself because for some reason I love some of the characters, but I also don't like what they're doing with the writing. And as a writer myself, I'm watching these things happen, and I'm like, that's a plot hole. That's a plot hole. Oh my God, seriously? She's pregnant? Like, how is there a vampire baby in, oh God, I'm not even going there anymore. So yeah, I happen to think that it was good, and then it went bad, and
Well, I think that one safely sits in everyone's guilty pleasure pile.
yes, right? So,
Question. Animals are featured pretty prominently in your work. But where does that look come from? What's your favorite?
Oh, well, my dad and my mom are huge animal fans. Like my father is actually a hunter, but he's very respectful of nature. So he's not one of those guys that goes and shoots bears and wolves because he's like, look at my trophy. He has this amazing respect for nature, and he took me out with my sisters. We went hiking and we went to a lot of like butterfly sanctuaries and all this stuff. So from a very young age, I was introduced to like the Discovery Channel, and we'd sit there and watch it all the time with my dad. So I find nature to be unbelievably beautiful and inspiring. And there's so many animals in the world that I'm like, that can't be real. Like if you see, what's that fish that has a human face? It's
Oh, yeah.
the
human teeth.
blobfish. Oh yeah, and that human teeth fish. Ugh. It's still beautiful in its own way, but yeah. So I just think that, it's nature deserves to be treated with respect and our compassion, because actually as human beings we're kind of destroying this planet. It's making me really sad. But so when I use the animals, they're a metaphor for the girl's personality, because when you, like, as human beings, we actually place a lot of meaning on certain things. Like a dove is the icon for peace, and like when you see a kitten, it's like youth and innocence. So when I place all these animals on the paintings, they're actually it's like a piece of a puzzle, and it represents the girl's personality. So. And I think because I love animals so much that it makes sense to me when I see it, that's what that means. But when other people see my artwork, they see different things in it that I never thought that. But I think that art is just it's like a mirror to your subconscious. So whatever you see in it, I'm not telling you what you're seeing, like with the artwork. Like what you see is exactly your interpretation, and that's totally fine with me. But I'm actually, now I'm branching out of doing the animals. I had this epiphany when I was doing my show for Tara McPherson in New York last year. And I just decided that I wanted to step outside of everything I knew about painting. And so I created all these girls that had no animals. And you couldn't even see their eyes, because people know my artwork as the big-eyed girls. And I covered up their eyes. And oddly enough, you could still tell that it's my art, which I think is really cool. But it's just about, it's like melting like colors, and that means something totally different to me now. So I think as I evolve, I went from painting like helmet girls to painting girls with animals, and now I'm painting like rainbows. And my next show in June is going to have a lot of puzzles. It's like these girls are going to be made up of puzzle pieces. So, and that means something else to me entirely. So I think as an artist, I'm just going to constantly evolve, and I'll still always like have animals in my paintings, but I think it'll mean different things the more I paint. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the conceptual stage is actually the hardest, because I've got sketchbooks full of me just playing around with ideas, and sometimes it's like I'll have an idea, I'll be like, I want to paint something that is the strength of a woman, and so it was easy enough for me to create that, and it's this painting called Yutha, and it's this girl, and she's got this snake coiled around her head, and it looks like a brain, and she's holding the snake, and there's butterflies all around her. And I painted that one specifically in mind because I think that the sexiest part, okay, so snakes represent sexuality sometimes, and strength and seduction, and I think that the most beautiful part of a woman, the sexiest thing, is her mind. And so you can't see the bottom part of her, you can just see the top. And so the snake represents her mind, And the fact that she's holding it represents that she's in control of that. Like she knows her strengths. And then there's butterflies around her because that represents the delicacy of a mind as well. Because we are fragile. Like as human beings, our egos and our minds can be like hurt. And sometimes, like a butterfly, if you touch its wing, it'll never fly again. So it can be like that. You know, things will scar us. So with that painting, I had something specifically in mind, but other times, I was painting this one image, and I just, you know, I think I just wanted to try something different. So it's the iguana image where she's holding an iguana, and there's like little snow leopard kittens on her head, and I painted this, and I was in a really emotional state at the time because I just had my heart broken, and so I was just painting, and I'm painting, and I'm done, and I finished it. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God, I just painted my broken heart. And I started crying. And it was therapeutic because I realized, you know, I was painting all these things, I was putting them in place and I didn't know why I was doing it. And at the end, it all came together. So I don't force an idea sometimes. And other times, after I've created it, I realize that the subconscious idea manifested. But for example, there's this one I did, and it's a girl, you can't see her eyes, and she's opening up her chest, and it's oozing a rainbow. And that was, it was so ironic, because I was feeling creatively drained, and that was the meaning of this painting, and I was completely inspired by it. I felt like my heart wasn't in it. Like I took a break from painting because I felt that the gallery scene was really forcing me. They're putting a lot of pressure on me to paint more than I was capable of. And they're like, just paint. Just like, we need 40 paintings. It doesn't matter. Just paint, paint, paint. And I'm like, but if I don't feel like painting, if I'm like, I'm not a factory, you know, it has to come from somewhere. So I felt like my heart wasn't in it. And so that was the meaning of that. And I just felt like my whole soul was just bleeding out. And then that inspired that entire series. And it was one of my favorite shows, actually, just because even in a place of, like, when you feel completely non-creative, so much creativity exists. And it just means that I wasn't tapping the right source. And I'm, you know, and now I feel really motivated to try new things, because I also don't want to be pigeonholed when certain artists will only paint a certain thing because they think that that's what sells. And they're like, well, then I'll just keep doing that over and over again. And I think I got caught up in that in the last series I had done before the Rainbow Girls. And I just realized, I'm like, you know, I want to try something different. Like, I don't have to paint girls with their big eyes and sad faces, or the animals. And so now I feel like if I want to paint nudes, I'm going to paint nudes. And if I want to paint a girl with no eyes, that's what's going to happen, because it says so much more when I'm not trying to, I guess, appeal to what people like. I'm just really grateful that people enjoyed the new series, and I think people have responded really well to it, and it actually surprised me. It made me feel really good that it was okay not to paint eyes.
Well, I think
Yeah.
we're almost out of time, so if anybody has one last question,
Yeah.
now would be a good time.
Yeah. The which one? Oh, June 14th is my next show at the Aiden Gallery in Tinseltown in Vancouver. And there's going to be 10 new ones, 10 new oil paintings. And there's also going to be furniture and leggings for girls. So excited with the leggings, because I love fashion, and I love like wearable art. So there's gonna be new T-shirts too, and I'm really excited about that. So the paintings, the originals, or oh yes. You guys can sign up to my newsletter, and you'll get like all the scoop. But yeah, and then the prints, I'll be doing a new fine art print in June 14th as well.
Anything else coming up the pipeline? Coming down the pipeline, rather?
Oh, I just want to say this one painting I'm doing, which is kind of it's cheeky. It's very cheeky. Did you guys see the last painting I did for Corey Helford? It's this girl called Bubs, and she's in a like a sea of rainbow, and you could just see the top of her face, and she's got a unicorn. This is called Bubs. And this is kind of my FU to people who don't like nudity. I'm doing the I'm doing the exact same size, but it's just floating breasts in this sea of rainbow, and I'm calling it nips. So
That sounds delightful. All right. Can we get a big round of applause for Camilla D'Errico, please?
thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah.
That was super fun. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for moderating.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love doing this.